Last season didn't go well for the Eagles. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another Philly sports themed video. It's mid-August, so it's time to start talking about the Birds. I know we got the Phillies in a pennant race right now. Don't worry, we will be making a video about them very soon, depending on specifically what they do in the next couple weeks. But right now, I just wanted to talk about the Eagles. They had their first preseason game last week against the Steelers. They lost that game, doesn't really matter. What did matter was kind of the tail of the tape in the first half, and I really was happy and encouraged with what I saw with the team. So the point of this video is basically to discuss, is this team relevant? Is this team going to be good after an atrocious year last year? What basically to expect from this Philadelphia Eagles team? Let's get into it. So with Carson Wentz gone, Mr. Glass is no more. Again, I was wrong on that take. I was a Carson Wentz supporter, believer. It is what it is. He's now on the Colts. Jalen Hurts is the guy, or as some people like to believe, Joe Flacco, but that's nowhere near the case. Jalen Hurts is the guy for this football team, at least this year. And so far, he's looked pretty solid. He hasn't totally wowed people, but he's done his job. He's been about on par where I think he is in terms of talent-wise. And I don't know, who knows? He could come out in the regular season and ball out and really show people basically that they were wrong. But who knows? I really like Jalen Hurts' leadership. That's the one thing that really stands out to me. For right now, he's only a second-year player, and he's taking wide receivers in after every practice and meeting with them and getting things right and trying to, make sure everyone's on the same page, and that is a really great sign. So at the very least, there's that. In terms of his skill level, that's yet to be determined throughout a full season of football. But for right now, I really like that facet of his game. Nick Sirianni's in his first year as a head coach of the Birds, and something that for me that I really like for him so far, he seems to be a player's coach. He seems to be someone that is able to earn the respect of the guys in the locker room, and that means a lot. Same thing, kind of similar to Jalen Hurts. He's gonna earn that respect. We've only really seen one game from him so far coaching, but I am a little worried how he's gonna be making adjustments in game when the momentum's on the other team's side. If the Eagles are down a score or two, how's he going to be able to adjust? How's he going to be able to respond? That's really what I'm looking for Nick Sirianni in his first season. I think that he's going to be able to bring a positive energy, a positive vibe to this organization, but how is he going to be able to respond in the adversity, in the tough moments? Hopefully he learns how to adjust in game, and I think that is something that's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of just learning and just being a head coach. So it's probably not going to happen overnight in his first year, but overall, as he learns and matures, that'll make this football team better. That'll make him better as a coach. The NFC East, still bad, and I think that the Eagles have an opportunity to win this division just for the pure fact that these teams, the competition, it's just not comparative to other divisions in football when you look at the Giants, the Cowboys, and of course the football team. So realistically and honestly, I think that the Eagles go 7-10 with their schedule. If you take a look at who they're playing, it's a lot of home, away, away, home, away, home. There's really only 2 points in the season where they're on the road for 2 weeks, which is good. That's solid for road trip. You're not too long on the road, but it's also a lot of back and forth changes. We'll see how they deal with that. If the Eagles do somehow end up winning this division, I think that their record will probably be around 9-8, maybe 10-7. I mean, that is extremely highballing this team. That's just if everything goes their way. Again, realistically, 7-10, maybe even 6-11. That's what I really think to expect record-wise. And what does everything going their way look like? Basically, the other teams in the division choking and losing critical games, which could happen, and the Eagles getting big wins against big opponents in big situations. Let's look at the strength of this team this season. I think really in the trenches, that's where this team is going to have success, in the offensive line and defensive line. First, starting with the offensive line, just the depth with Jason Kelce, Brandon Brooks, Jordan Mailata is going to be a standout performer, and all those guys. Lane Johnson's back. Jeff Stoutland, the O-line coach, has been with the team for, I'm trying to think, at least 8 years with the Chip Kelly era, so he's been here for a while. the guys love him and they perform well. Same thing with the D-line. You got Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. I'm hopeful what Milton Williams is going to look like on this D-line. Ryan Kerrigan, new addition to the team. So there's a lot of guys that are going to be contributing on the defensive line as well. The big thing that is preached year in and year out is that games can be won in the trenches. And I think that could really set the tone for some of these games, especially early on in the season. How well is your O-line and D-line conditioned? And I think if they're in good shape, I think that the Eagles have a chance at least staying in some of these games. Then I think the main weakness of this team is especially the linebacking core, very thin, not very talented, and the receivers. How are the receivers going to perform? I think that those are the two spots on this team that are going to be looked at critically. Jonathan Gannon, first-year defensive coordinator, has a tough task on his hands, so we'll see how he does. And then we're looking at the receivers. Devontae Smith, first-round pick, going to be a really, really highly touted receiver for Jalen Hurts. See how that connection evolves throughout the season. Jalen Reagor, how's he going to respond after last year? Travis Fulgham's back. Quez Watkins looks unreal. His speed is a game changer, and I really hope that he's going to be able to open up the passing game for this team, because separation is always a point of emphasis when you're talking about receivers, and that's something that the Eagles receivers have struggled doing so far in the preseason and just last year and in years past as well. Miles Sanders is back. Big thing for him during this season is to hold on to the football. He's had a little case of the fumbles throughout his career so far, but overall it's been a successful one for Miles, and I hope that he can really hit his stride in year 3. Looking at the tight ends, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. Will Zach Ertz stay? It's looking good right now. I mean, he's a fan favorite in Philadelphia, but how does that complicate things with Dallas Goedert, who's starting to hit his prime? We'll have to wait and see, but I think that for right now, Ertz is staying, and how they're going to fit him into the game plan, we'll see. So overall, this Eagles team is a hodgepodge of expectations. I think on one hand, they could prove some people wrong. They're going to probably have a chip on their shoulder. But on the other hand, I just think that their team isn't yet where it needs to be. It's not going to hit its stride for at least 2 or 3 years. Again, when Doug Peterson took over, it took 2 years, even though that was pretty quick. But overall, I think that this team has a lot of positives, definitely some negatives, and we'll see what they're able to do with the talent they have, new coaching staff. It should be a fun season. So that was the Eagles preseason into the regular season breakdown. Hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new for more Philly sports talk. And I'm out. Peace.